皆さんこんにちは。Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how to say I hope in Japanese. This is a very useful topic because we say I hope a lot. Like I hope it doesn't rain. I hope you feel better. I hope I pass the test. But in Japanese, there are different expressions depending on what you mean and who you are talking to. So in this video, I'm going to show you the most common Japanese expression people use for I hope. So grab your notebook and let's get started. First, let's start with one very common way to say I hope in Japanese. といいね。といいね。or といいですね。といいですね。in polite speech. It has a feeling of it would be nice if blah blah and usually expresses hope for a good outcome. It's a useful expression that shows care for the other person and expresses a positive feeling. The grammar is very simple. For verbs and adjectives, use といいね after the plain form, like 晴れるといいね、安いといいね。With non-adjectives and nouns, use だといいね、like 休みだといいね、静かだといいね。Let's look at some examples. 面接うまくいくといいね。面接うまくいくといいね。早く良くなるといいね。早く良くなるといいね。いい仕事が見つかるといいですね。いい仕事が見つかるといいですね。And very often people use another common expression, といいな。といいな sounds more personal, like you are talking to yourself or expressing your own hope more personally. The grammar is the same as といいね. For verbs and adjectives, simply add といいな after the plain form. With non-adjectives and nouns, use だといいな。Let's look at some examples. 今年日本に行けるといいな。今年日本に行けるといいな。おばあちゃん元気だといいな。おばあちゃん元気だといいな。明日晴れるといいな。明日晴れるといいな。Another similar pattern is たらいいな。たらいいな is also used for personal hopes, and it can sound a little more like imagining a situation. Like, if that happened, that would be nice. The grammar is also simple. For verbs, use the たら form and add いいな like 変えたらいいな、治ったらいいな。For adjectives, drop the final e and add 買ったらいいな like 広かったらいいな、安かったらいいな。For non-adjectives and nouns, add だったらいいな like 元気だったらいいな、静かだったらいいな。Let's look at some examples. もっと日本語話せたらいいな。もっと日本語話せたらいいな。テスト簡単だったらいいな。テスト簡単だったらいいな。新しい職場働きやすかったらいいな。新しい職場 働きやすかったらいいな。Now, there is one more pattern that is similar to たらいいな. And that is ばいいな. ばいいな can also mean it would be nice if blah blah. But compared with たらいいな, it can sound slightly more formal, and it has a nuance of focusing on a condition like as long as that happens, that's enough. The grammar is also simple. For verbs, use ば form and add いいな like 会えればいいな、寝れればいいな。For adjectives, drop the final い and add ければいいな like 安ければいいな、近ければいいな。For non-adjectives and nouns, there is a pattern であればいいな。But everyday conversation, ならいいな is much more natural. Let's look at some examples. スカイツリーあんまり混んでなければいいな。スカイツリーあんまり混んでなければいいな。ホテルから駅まで近ければいいな。ホテルから駅まで近ければいいな。明日までに筋肉痛治ればいいな。明日までに筋肉痛治ればいいな。I think many people have heard the ending んだけど or んですけど in polite speech. This is very common in real-life conversation. You can add んだけど or んですけど to some of the hope expression I introduced earlier, like といい、たらいい、ばいい。When you do that, the sentence sounds softer, more conversational, and a little more tentative. This kind of expressions feels very Japanese because it leaves the feeling slightly open instead of too direct. Let's look at some examples. 明日晴れるといいんだけど。明日晴れるといいんだけど。レストランの予約取れたらいいんだけど。レストランの予約取れたらいいんだけど。送った書類今日中に届けばいいんですけど。送った書類今日中に届けばいいんですけど。Last one is ように。ように。This pattern sounds more wish-like or prayer-like. It's often used in set situations like writing wishes, prayers, or message to someone. For example, on New Year's cards, birthday messages, or supportive messages. Compared with other expressions, we don't use it as much in conversation. The grammar is simple. Put a verb before ように. Polite forms are very common in fixed expressions. Let's look at some examples. いい年になりますように。いい年になりますように。素敵な誕生日になりますように。素敵な誕生日になりますように。みんなが健康でいられますように。みんなが健康でいられますように。試験に合格しますように。試験に合格しますように。That's it for today's lesson. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the next video. I love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you like to see in my future videos. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. ではまた